I got one more main question for you, and then anything else we want to touch on before you start your lessons here, we can touch on quickly. But what was it like for you? I guess when I know that when we talked about potentially sitting down and doing a podcast, I remember you mentioning, whether in previous conversations or not, that there was a specific moment or time when you kind of looked at Blake and realized, oh, there's kind of something special here and he could really be something. When was that, and what was that realization like of you don't want to push him too hard, but at the same time, you want to help him make it to the big leagues? And
Right.
It's no secret, drafted in the first round by the Royals in 23, goes 8th overall. I mean, tell us about that when you realized, he could really be something.
There was two incidents. One, and people are going to laugh at me on this one. One was at the age of 8. We were playing a team out of San Antonio. I can't think of the team, but it's Joaquin Martinez's organization. His son, Sevi. Really, really good people, really good player, really good family. It was like San Antonio Speed Extreme Yankees or something like that, right? And so Blake is playing shortstop. Maybe it was 7, playing shortstop, and there was a blooper that was hit behind third base, shallow left field on the line. And at that young age, he turns over his right shoulder and he runs the ball down and dives and makes this catch. And I look, I'm like, y'all see that? And they're like, yeah, we saw it. I'm like, okay. Something a little different. And they're like, yeah, for sure. Next play, the kid hits like a little chopper that goes over the pitcher's head, kind of like in between the pitcher's mound and shortstop and second base. And he runs up and he kind of like bare hands it and just flips it over to first base. And I'm like, what just happened here? And then another play right after that, he makes another one, and I'm going, wow, like he's different. I mean, he would just wear the uniform a little bit differently. And I was like, man, that was pretty special, right? But then I was like, he's 8 or he's 7. Yeah, whatever.
Yeah.
He had a great day. And then, later in life, he went, he didn't grow too much. And I was like, okay, well, he's going to be a small kid, So, but then COVID hit and he got into the weights. He grew, just maturity. Just God-given, okay, this is your time to grow. And then he got on the mound and was playing for 12 with Coach Knox. They were in Oklahoma. And I'm sitting here at the house, and Jennifer's with Blake in Oklahoma, and he's on the mound because he told Coach Knox, hey, if you ever need anybody to close the game out, I'll close. And Knox goes, you can't pitch. He goes, I can pitch a little bit. And he gets on the mound, and I'm watching the Game Changer, whatever was on it. It was 88, 88, 89, 89, 90, 91, 91. I'm like, okay, we got a little something special here.
And that was what, his freshman year, sophomore year?
Sophomore year.
Okay.
Yeah. Sophomore year. And then he goes to one of those World Series up there in Melissa, and it goes like something just off the charts, like 17 for 20 with a wood bat.
Oh, yeah.
And that's when everything started happening. He hits, he gets on the mound, and he's 16 years old and throwing 90s. And yeah, he got to up there in the 90s pretty quick, fast. Just being mature and, growing at the right time.
Yeah.
So all the kids that are out there that are small, just be patient. Just be patient. It'll happen.
Yeah. And put the work in,
That's
obviously.
it.
Obviously, all that, that next period of years, you go on college visits, you're going all over the place playing Team USA, Future Stars Series, showcases, draft, combine, all this different stuff. And I remember whenever y'all sat down with Coach Knox on draft day, and y'all were talking about how quickly you guys are up and moving after the state tournament, it was just nonstop for y'all.
It was. And, that was Blake. That was all Blake. He wanted to do it. That was his big summer. He said, I want to do every event I possibly can. And, his agent, Joe, was like, well, let's kind of see what your body does. And Blake's like, no, I want to do it. I was a little worried about that. It might expose him a little bit. That, if he does have, his body starts breaking down and he starts having some bad games, and, how he's going to bounce back from that. Just being a dad, being like, oh my gosh, hey, slow down a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
But I never told him no, because I wanted him to do what he wanted to do. And he went out and he did everything you possibly could on that draft circuit, I call it. And he did well. He did extremely well.
Yeah.
So kudos to Blake for that.
Yeah.
So.
Well, cool. Last thing I got for you. Draft day 2023. It's been, close to a year and a half. How proud were you whenever you realize he's going in the first round and you hear his name called? What's that like?
An understatement. It's tough. The hardest day for Dad. To be able to see that enjoyment.
With the 8th pick of the 2023 draft, the Kansas City Royals select Blake Mitchell.
Just for all the hard work that he put into it. To see him succeed. It's tough. I wouldn't call it tough. It was probably harder on me than anybody else. Probably me and Jennifer. But just a sense of pride for him that he did it. So, but still to this day, he still amazes us in everything that he does. Sorry.
It's all right. I love it. Take your time. I can imagine. I know that the whole community loves you guys, the Mitchell family, loves Blake, loves Clay. And you guys got a lot of support here, and not only in Sinton, but in South Texas. And, we're keeping up with you guys. And obviously getting drafted is one thing and making it in that sense, but he's got that minor league grind coming up, right? You got to put the work in to get to the show now.
That's it. And, I worry about him every day. But he knows what he's got to do. He knows the work that he's got to put in for it. And now we just got to get Clay off to college.